Arnold Schwarzenegger, Barry Bonds, and Lance Armstrong were all great athletes in the United States of America. Many of them were very successful in what they did, from being Mr. Olympian 7 years in a row, hitting over 700 home runs in Major League Baseball, to winning 7 Tour de France titles and a bronze medal in the Olympic Games. But what most people didn't realize is that most of their accomplishment resulted from the use of performance-enhancing drugs. Today, I'm going to talk about the history of performance-enhancing drugs, the different types of drugs, and health risks involved abusing them. Anabolic steroids didn't become popular until the 20th century. A German scientist by the name of Arnold Adolf Berthold became the first to discover the effects and importance of the male hormone testosterone. He discovered this by removing the testicles of cockerels, which is a type of bird. He discovered that the male testicles play a key role in the regulation of hormones throughout the male body. By taking away the testicles, he found that the bird lost most of the male characteristics. In the 1930s, a German chemist by the name of Adolf Buchanan discovered the importance and effects of testosterone and other hormone androstenone. He was able to extract the hormone androstenone from the urine and purify it for research. Not too long after, Leopold Ruzicka, another German chemist, developed a means of synthesizing the hormone safe for human use. He found a way to produce the first synthetic testosterone shot for humans. Research continued to grow, and by the 1930s, the world's first injection of testosterone propionate were administered to athletes in the Soviet Union. Both Arnold Buchanan and Leopold Ruzicka earned a Nobel Prize in 1939 for their research in chemistry. Anabolic steroid use became more and more common in the 1940s, and by the late 1960s, the use of anabolic steroids was in high heat in Olympic athletes, especially the weightlifters. Germany was at the top of the list with steroid research and led all the sporting events around the world. Eventually, the United States caught up with the steroid research and began administering it to their athletes. America then became one of the most rapidly growing steroid research facilities in the world. Steroid use in sporting events became more and more common. People soon began to find out about the use of performance-enhancing drugs and began drug testing all the athletes. In the 1980s, the Anti-Drug Abuse Act was put in place, which banned all anabolic steroid use in all athletic events. Steroid use then didn't become popular until the early 21st century. According to Drug Free Sports website, performance-enhancing drugs are any substances taken to perform better athletically. Today, a lot of young athletes want to strive to make themselves better at the sport, from football to basketball to baseball. Most have the dream to make it to the college level, the pro level, and even the Olympic Games. But since most professional sports nowadays are more competitive, they feel like they won't make the cut. So by using performance-enhancing drugs, they feel like that will help them become professional athletes. So what are the types of performance-enhancing drugs? Well, the most common types of performance-enhancing drugs include anabolic steroids and human growth hormones. According to the National Drug Institute on Drug Abuse's website, anabolic steroids is a familiar name for the synthetic substances related to the male sex hormone testosterone. Anabolic steroids promote the growth of skeletal muscles as well as the sex characteristics of both males and females. Steroids may be given through a pill or injection in the arm. The positive side effects of anabolic steroids include, but are not limited to, increased muscle mass, increases strength and endurance, being able to train longer with higher intensity, a boost to sporting performance, and a faster recovery. Another type of steroids include designer steroids, which are synthetic steroids that have been analytically created to be undetectable by current drug testings. According to Mayo Clinic's website, this type of enhancement drug specifically increases the athlete's muscle mass and performance, but recent studies have shown that this type of drug does not improve their strength abilities. What many athletes don't realize is that all performance-enhancing drugs have catastrophic consequences. Serious health risks in both men and women include, but are not limited to, severe acne, tendinitis, liver tumors, high blood pressure, heart problems, aggressive behaviors, depression, HIV, and inhibitive growth problems. Men specifically experience baldness, infertility, shrunken testicles, and prominent breasts. Women most often experience a deeper voice, an increase of body hair, baldness, and infrequent periods. Performance-enhancing drugs have been abused by many famous athletes across the country and the world. Most of the time, the media only finds out about their drug abuse years after the competition. Perhaps the most famous and recent case of all was about Lance Armstrong's struggle after battling cancer in biking competitions. According to the CNN Health website, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency released more than 1,000 pages of evidence and doping allegations against Armstrong and his teammates. Armstrong was convicted of abusing performance-enhancing drugs such as blood doping, erythropoietin, and corticosteroids. 7 of his Tour de France titles were taken away, along with his bronze medal in the 2000 Olympic Games. Barry Bonds, a former Major League Baseball player, also was accused of abusing anabolic steroids towards the end of his career in the early 21st century. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was a former 7-time Olympian, Mr. Olympian, and in the 1970s even admitted of using performance-enhancing drugs in his prime time, under his doctor's supervision. Anabolic steroids was very common in the mid to late 20th century. Many athletes today still illegally use performance-enhancing drugs, such as anabolic steroids. Most athletes have the natural ability to do well without using performance-enhancing drugs, but choose to do so anyway. So hopefully one day we will lower the use of these drugs in the years to come.